Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Nolte Music. I taught a lesson today that inspired me a little bit, gave me a new idea, and I'd like to teach it to you today. Besides, everybody's always writing to me and saying, Aimee, I want more licks, more riffs, more ideas to improve my improvising. So, okay, here you go. I got one for you today. We're going to work on our minor 2-5-1s. And the lesson that I taught, my student wanted some new ideas when she's singing over minor 2-5-1s. So we just started messing around, and I said, I'm just gonna sing something. I'm gonna sing over 2-5-1s until you like something that I do. And then it turned out the very first thing that I sang to her, she was like, I like that one. But then during the course of the lesson, we kind of built on it, and it turned into something that I think is pretty nice. So I'll show you how it goes. First thing I did was I think I was just playing in A half diminished right here, and I started up on a C note, da, 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 da. And she was like, I like that. So I said, okay, well all I did was aim for the sharp 9 right there. And she said, I like how that sounds. I said, good. Everybody should focus on the sharp 9 at some point in their practicing and try to aim for it. So I said, let's think of ways to just play that 2-5 in G minor. We're in G minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Lots of times. I said, every time we're just going to aim for an F. We're just going to land on it. Da, 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 da. I was landing hard on the flat 9 for a second, wasn't I? But do you hear how that note sounds so nice? Now, if you're not hip to the sharp 9 sound, boy, you got to get hip to the sharp 9 sound. I remember when I first got hip to the sharp 9 sound, it confused the heck out of me. I was a senior in high school, and I had just gotten a Donald Fagen album. You know that guy from Steely Dan? He's one of my favorites. And he wrote this song called Walk Between Raindrops. So it was on his album called The Night Fly. I love that album. And how did it go? It went da 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 da. So it went from I guess it's 2 dominant chords in a row, a D7 chord with the 7 as the melody, da, but then it did I don't know what key it was in, it's probably not in this key, but these are the notes I heard. And I went, I know that this chord has just been resolved. Like I could hear that it was D7 to G7, but I knew that the melody note was a B flat. And I was like, that is a minor third. How is a minor third resolving the dominant 7 chord that just came before it? How is it possible? But it was possible. So I was like, gosh, it's both of those notes. It's the major third and it's the minor third, and they exist together in beautiful harmony. What is it called? So I went to my teacher at the time, and I asked that question, and he said, let's call the sharp 9. And he's like, and they sound much better if you spread them out. And if you throw a 7 in the middle, and if you throw a sharp 5 in the middle, or a flat 5, sounds cool too. So anyway, that was my lesson, my very first lesson about the sharp 9. And ever since then, it's been my little baby. I love it. Okay, so back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Right. Have I explained it sufficiently enough? It's an extension. That's why it works. I don't think I've explained it sufficiently enough. You got your D7 chord now, okay? D7. Right? D, F sharp, A, C. If you keep adding extensions onto it, like if we add the 9, there's an E. There it is, D9. You can do two things with the 9. You can sharp it or you can flat it. So we can make it an E flat, which sounds great, or we can make it an F or an E sharp, which also sounds great. And that's what I'm talking about. So that's how you can have the major third and the minor third exist together. It's because it's an extension. Okay. There it is, right there. There's the major third. There's the sharp 9. Now, as we were progressing in our lesson, I said, all right, you've got that. She's a pretty smart girl, and she was nailing it every time. So I said, something harder now. Let's take some triads. I said, let's take an F major triad and see if you can outline it. So I said, start on a C note up high. And you're going to land on that F, and then I want you to outline an F triad. I want you to put F in the middle of the triad. So she did it. Da, 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 da. You hear that? F triad? It sounds great over the D7 chord, D7 altered chord. So then we tried to find ways to just outline that F triad over the D7 chord. Cool. That's a C triad over a G minor chord. So that was cool too. She and I didn't do that today. But another thing that we did was super easy for her. She was nailing that one. She could hear it easily. And I asked her, what's another triad that we could try and outline? And she came up with it right away, because smart cookie. B flat, she said. So let's listen to how that sounds. You like that? I like that. Okay, so we did the same thing. And then as we played around with it a little bit more, she liked this. She came up with it, actually. She wanted to play the 6 on the minor chord as well as the sharp 7 over the minor chord. That's an E and an F sharp over G minor, and those are cool. So the way that we ended our lesson was that she needs to take that and do it in all 12 keys. So that's what she's going to be working on, and I told her, just like I'm telling you, you can do it in a bunch of different ways. One way is to just play whole notes with your left hand. You play the A, you play the D, you play the G, and then you sing it. Da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. And then you can raise it a half step. Da 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 da. That's a D flat up high, da, 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 da. And that's an F sharp because we're on a B triad, la, da, F sharp, B, F sharp, D sharp. And now the 6 of the minor chord, which is an F over that A minor 6 chord, la, da, da, da. If we try to hit them both, you don't have to do that. So anyway, you move through all the 12 keys like that. And what ends up happening to you is after a week of this, you end up totally hearing that triad over the dominant altered chord. And then anytime that you're just playing a tune, it's going to come into your brain. The autumn leaves just by my window, the falling leaves, da 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 da. Because exercises are nothing unless you put them into tunes. Don't forget that for me. You need to find tunes that have minor 2-5-1s in them so that you can practice over your altered dominant chords. Autumn Leaves is good. Fly Me to the Moon is another really good one. They're everywhere. The next step, I think, would be trying to hear this triad even stronger. Because if you can hear it there, you ought to be able to hear a few more notes of that triad as well and sing them or play them if you're playing, but sing them for me, okay? Because if you just have it automatic in your fingers on your trumpet or whatever, you don't know just how it's going to sound when it comes out. You want to be able to predict that color before it comes out of your horn. And if you practice it enough, you're going to be able to sing it in your head, and you'll know how it's going to sound before you press that button. We can end on the 9th of the chord, or we could end on the major 7th of the G minor again. Let's try because we just raise it, right? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a worksheet. I'll make a worksheet with these exercises on it so that you can have it if you like it. And you can email me at aimeenolte@yahoo.com and I'll just shoot it right over to you. The very last thing that you want to do with this is just change your line so that when you get to your dominant altered chord, you're still going to hit that B flat triad. And then when you get to your G minor chord, you're still going to try to hit the 6 and the major 7, but you can just do it in many other ways. And then you just want to, put it on a loop, like I said, and go for it. Find as many creative ways to come around at it as you can. This has been fun. Have fun with it. Do all kinds of things. Oh, I remember. I told you that one way you could do it. This is unorganized Aimee just making a video on a whim. But one way is to play a bass note and sing, right? And go around the circle. Another way is to play, if you're a piano player or a guitar player, or vibes player, you can play rootless voicings with your left hand. And another way is that you can turn on a play-along track. You can turn on Fly Me to the Moon, and every time that there is a minor 2-5-1, you sing that, or Autumn Leaves, or whatever. And then you just challenge yourself that every time it happens, you're gonna make sure that you're outlining that triad. If that's the step that you're on, maybe you decided that you want to latch on to just being able to land on the sharp 9 for that part of my video. That's cool. And you put on your play along. You could even make yourself a play along. Another thing you can do is to switch up the feel. You can do it bossa nova if you'd like. I think the app that I reviewed, Genius Jam Tracks, has a minor 2-5-1 exercise in it. Pretty sure that it does. So that's a good one too. And even in iReal, I'll bet there's some exercise for minor 2-5-1s in iReal Pro. I hope there is. All right, now I'm finished. Thank you everybody for being here, and I hope you have fun with this. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.